new season starts here at Monza for the Blancpain GT Sports Club, and the cars making their way on to the grid for the qualifying race. 25 minutes, the opening race, to determine the grid for the main race on which more points are scored tomorrow. And the Blancpain GT Series Sports Club goes from strength to strength because we have more cars season on season, different drivers, new drivers, and this has the makings, because they've never raced at Monza before, of being a very lively race indeed. The man on pole position, returning to Sports Club, is Mario Cordoni, who had a year away in Lamborghini Super Trofeo, but he's back and he lines up with the Rinaldi racing car of Christian Hook alongside on the front of the grid. There they are. The second row, you'll see Patrick Van Glebaker's Ferrari, and riding up alongside him, Karim Ogier, who's been a podium finisher but yet to win. Maybe today will be his day. On the third row, you'll see the blue Lamborghini Gallardo Extenso of Claude-Yves Gosselin, and lining up alongside him is the pseudonymed Coach Mackenzie. The fourth row of the grid, on the inside is 51. It's the white Ferrari, Porsche rather, I should say, of Christoph Ulrich, and then lining up on the outside will be Jürgen Hering. Then the next row of the grid is where you find the Porsche of Edward Louis Brauner, and alongside it is Klaus-Dieter Frers in the Ferrari. Next on the grid is Steve Earle, and with him is the Pier Feligioni Lamborghini. And you have Carnival 99 of Mike Hansch, and on the very back of the grid should be Dilantha Malagamoa, the Malaysian driver, who is new to the championship. In fact, I'm afraid to say he is missing from the grid, but we do have Roberto Raineri there. So the grid is lined up in a slightly jumbled format for the qualifying race. I suspect there might have been an amended one published that's not reached us here, but the front of it is okay, but it starts to shuffle a bit mid-grid with one or two swapping sides. It could be that a penalty or two has been applied retrospectively as well. However, the cars are going to be released in a moment, and when they do get away, we'll have a look and see what the chances are of this race for the likes of Patrick Van Glebaker, who should be the front runner starting on the second row of the grid. Van Glebaker with Karim Ogier for company. Claude-Yves Gosselin lining up alongside Coach Mackenzie on the third row. The Lamborghinis, the fourth row, so we've got Jürgen Hering's Porsche. Field accelerating away. So this a chance for the drivers to get some warmth into tyres. And everybody away. So yes, Dilantha Malagamoa appears to be missing, but there's also, this is what's confused the grid slightly, there's been one car withdrawn, which I think is the Christoph Ulrich Ferrari. So he's not there, and everyone else has moved up a space on this, I'm assuming, amended grid. So it's a great shame that Malagamoa ain't there, because he's a good character. It's a shame that Christoph Ulrich isn't there, but we still have enough to make a lively race out of this. Mario Cordoni is the man on pole position, and he and Christian Hook should be very evenly matched in this. If you're wondering what the titanium is all about, that is a new class for the 50 to 59-year-olds. There's the Iron Cup for the over 60s, won last year by Steve Earle. But to give people more to fight for in this Gentleman Drivers Series, then that is what we now have as the new regulation, a new class introduced this year. So the grid cycles through, as you can see. Great mix of car, Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini. We've got lots of nationalities represented as well. And Steve Earle, who does a huge amount of travelling, the American orthopaedic surgeon coming across. He was the Iron Cup champion last year, but comes across for all of these sports club races, and with his distinctive moustache and a big grin on his face, really enjoys his racing. As I say, Dilantha Malagamoa not there from the back of the grid, disappointingly, as he joins in late from the pit lane, but there's no evidence of the car being there either. So they turn their way up towards the completion of this formation lap. 25 minutes the race distance, race duration will be. The Assistant Race Director Joel Doval is on the gantry ready to get the race underway. And as the field weaves left and right, warmth brought into the Pirelli tyres, and we will be good to go. So then, is this going to be a race win for Mario Cordoni? He was a star a couple of years ago, but Cordoni, after a season away racing Lamborghinis, has had to come back and learn about a Ferrari once again. And also there is the car of Christian Hook. Hook has been a front runner, but not a race winner for Rinaldi. 488. Patrick Van Glebaker, who is normally a front runner, had a rather large accident at Paul Ricard a season ago, and he was harpooned by another Ferrari, but did win in Hungary. Van Glebeker, who is part of the Curbstone Track Days company, and a pretty accomplished racer himself. He's also driven in the Le Mans Cup, the GT3 and LMP3 support series, but now coming back to where he started his racing, really, in the Blancpain GT Sports Club. The cars now get themselves in the side-by-side formation, being pursued by the Alpha 156 GTA course car at the back, which is a mainstay of Monza grids. And now they will turn towards the parabolic, and the pace car as it is, the Audi pace car for this race, will dive for the pit lane, and then we will be in business. So through they turn into the parabolica this time. At the end of the lap, we'll have the pace car in, and if the race director is happy with the indication, then the lights will go green. There's Alain Adam and his team in race control, watching all the pictures, making sure that everybody is as they should be, and his assistant Gilles Doval on the gantry, ready to flick the switch to put the lights to green to get the race underway. But remember, the finish line is here out of the parabolica, the start line is at the other end of the pit straight, so the lights will go to green on instruction to get the race underway any second. Not quite now, not quite now. Now, and it is a good start made to get away, look, by Cordoni. Van Glebeker gets up past Christian Hook as well, and Claude-Yves Gosselin, who's a hugely experienced GT racer, coming up on the inside line as well in the blue Lamborghini. Then he breaks as late as he does, he gets squeezed. Hook moves across on the inside into Gosselin. Van Glebeker gets turned around, and that was, I'm afraid, inevitable. Van Glebeker was coming across to take the line for the corner. That put Hook towards the grass. He put him into the side of Gosselin. Others go up the escape road to get out of the way, and that means that Mario Cordoni is away and gone, and Patrick Van Glebeker has probably come off worse than all, because not only is he delayed, he's facing the wrong way. So the leaders come up towards the Variante della Loggia for the first time, and it's pretty much leader singular. Mario Cordoni on his own. Already the incident at turn 1 is under investigation, and as the leaders swing their way then up towards the down apex right at the Lesmos, Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, Mario Cordoni getting away. Patrick Van Glebeker is not yet through the first sector, so struggling to get going again even. And if the car is stranded down at turn 1, I just wonder whether we're going to be able to keep the race going. We shall see, but as I say, he has not yet got to the end of the first sector. More people in strife. Who on earth has gone plunging into the gravel there? We'll try and pick up the car when it comes out the other side of the gravel bed, but it's been a lively first few corners. And this is only lap 1. Van Glebeker is going, but he's badly delayed. And the car that's run wide at the Lesmo 2 corner, the right-hander, will bring gravel onto the circuit, making it slippery for those behind. 25 minutes of racing, all being well. Here, Mario Cordoni leading the way, well clear of Carré Moget. It is, in fact, in second place. And these two, first and second. Third, it is the best of the Porsches then, which is the car of the German driver Jürgen Hering, their 991 going through. That's another of the Herber Porsches of Edward Louis Brauner. Cordoni leads at the end of lap 1 then. Second is Ogier. Third now is Hering. In fourth place is Klaus-Dieter Frers. Fifth is Steve Earle. Sixth it is Claudio Schiavone. And Van Glebeker has got going again, but he's very badly delayed. And so also Christian Hook, badly delayed. Therefore on the inside goes Schiavone to stay ahead of Brauner. We've got yellow flags up at turn 6, so have we lost somebody else? Roberto Raineri's Mercedes booms past the pits, the Mercedes SLS AMG GT3, one of the earlier cars. But I think Hook is the one that's gone missing. Was it him that was in the gravel? Possibly a legacy of the brush at the first corner, and the safety car is going out on track. The safety car is being deployed then. And as the field turns towards the Lesmo curves, the yellows are there. Everybody starts to slow down now. There, safety car ready to scoop them all up. And no overtaking permitted whilst the safety car is on track. So as soon as you get to the boards and the flags, you have to slow right down, stop racing. And that means that the lead of Mario Cordoni will disappear. The other one that was delayed, of course, at turn 1, Claude-Yves Gosselin, is down in 10th place trying to play catch-up. And there is Patrick Van Glebeker, I think I'm right in saying, limping round. He has not got to the end of the opening lap of the race. So Van Glebeke, after a tag, turns sideways. And where's he going now? Oh, Patrick. I think what he's trying to do is get across the circuit so he can get into the pit lane. But Van Glebeke, oh so slowly, limps out of the chicane. There you can see the tyres disappeared. And then as he has to move across side to get into the pit lane, so it all becomes a bit leery. So the field turning through, safety car on track, and the leader, Mario Cordoni, has just gone thundering over the line, almost as though he doesn't know the safety car's there. But you can see it now. Van Glebeke goes a lap down. Remember that the results of this race sort out the grid for the main race, on which you get more points. So you need to sort of keep out of trouble and finish as well as you can. Didn't quite work out like that for some, did it? Van Glebeke is in the pit lane, but there's the lap lost, there's the time lost, and there's the possibility of some serious damage as well. Others, like Gosselin, will now be able to catch back up, and the other one that's in the gravel must be Christian Hook, because nor has he come through at the end of the opening lap either. So very disappointed Patrick Van Glebeke got himself up the order, but the AF Corsa car now down the pit lane, and the Belgian driver will have a new wheel and tyre fitted. The technical team from SRO look on. And he'll blast back into the race, but he'll catch the queue, but he won't be able to get past it. So he was involved in the Turn 1 incident. That's being investigated still. Greg Masters and Richard Norbury, who are two of the permanent team of stewards for Blancpain events, Sprint and Endurance and GT Sports Club. They'll be having a look at the pictures and seeing whether any one driver has a case to answer. Van Glebeke has gone back out again, so he's on track, but a lap down. That's where the damage is done. So there is 488. Patrick Van Glebeke back on track, but can only now gain places if other people have problems. Safety car turns its way through. See some drivers keener to get on with this than others. Some drivers think safety car, I can relax. Others are always ready for the restart. Certainly pro drivers, they're constantly thinking about, is this the lap, is this the moment, can I gain ground on the restart? And you can see that lower down, gaps have opened up, but that could make or break your race result. So the drivers turn through. That's the reason for the safety car. It is Christian Hook. So he is in the gravel and the car being extricated. As soon as he is clear, then we'll get the race back underway with 18 minutes and change on the clock as the cars now make their way over the timing line once more. Replay of the start, and let's have a look and try and piece together who did what to which and to whom, as they say, because have a look at Van Glebeke then. In second place, he's on the outside line and then starts to try to move across, cover that line off as they come into turn 1. So Van Glebeke on the outside. Now look at Hook in the green Ferrari. He dives up the inside and brakes late. Van Glebeke does move across, so Hook moves across onto Gosselin. They make contact, clip Van Glebeke, turn him around. Got to say, I'm not entirely sure Van Glebeke should necessarily have come across like that, but the stewards are looking at it. Then Christian Hook thunders off into the gravel, ploughs off the road, and that's where he remains. And the safety car's going to be in this time, so we'll be back to racing at the end of this lap as Van Glebeke's Ferrari in replay grinds its way back towards the pit lane. "17 more minutes are on the clock in this opening race of the season for Blancpain GT Sports Club. It's a great series and visits endurance and sprint rounds over the course of the season. And a number of drivers purely racing this, others racing this because they're at an event anyway, maximise the track time, and there's a proper gentleman feel about it. Karim Oja, I think, has found a very happy home in this. He was for many seasons a Blancpain Endurance AM class driver, but had a big accident at Spa at the top of Radion and decided perhaps that wasn't for him. And the other thing about this is you're racing with people of a similar age/experience, so you're not having to look in your mirrors all the time to find the latest hotshot come charging past you, you can enjoy yourself on your own. You also get lots of track time because although the races aren't as long as an endurance race, you personally get free practice and qualifying and 2 races, and you don't have to share a car. So for the gentleman racer, you actually get a lot more track time against people of your level of experience. There's a lot to be said for it. And we'll go racing this time, 16 minutes still on the clock. And Mario Cordoni then, former champion, comes over the timing line. Last year's champion Anthony Pong's not racing this season within this category, so it leaves the way clear for some fresh winners. And first time they've raced at Monza, Cordoni leading then as we restart by 0.8 of a second. In second place is Auger, third is Jürgen Hering. In fourth place, Klaus-Dieter Frers. Fifth is Steve Earle, the mustachioed American, keeping at bay then the blue blue Ferrari, I should say, in the hands of Claudio Schiavone, who comes now right on the tail out of the chicane. Schiavone on the back of Gosselin as they power their way now through the right-hander of the Curva Grande. There through is number 6, Pierre Feligioni, as the race leaders drop down towards the second chicane. Green flags fly all the way around the circuit on this restart lap. 17 you've got in the mix as well. The pseudonym German driver, Coach McKenzie, he goes the pseudonym, and he's one of the drivers in this new Titanium Cup for the 50 to 59-year-olds. The Iron Cup is for the over 60s. Precious metals never run out, you see, you can keep creating classes. Roberto Ranieri's Mercedes staying on the back of the group pretty much, but he's losing a little bit of ground at the rear of the field as the leaders come towards the Variante Ascari once more. Now, is Cordoni getting away from Auger sector by sector? The answer is yes, he is. He's pulling clear. Van Gleberke is the other one to keep an eye to because he's trying to unlap himself, which is not going to be easy. And even if he can do, he's then going to make up a whole lap again to try and catch up onto the tail of everybody else. As the race leaders come through for the now 5th time. We've got 14.5 minutes still to go. And Mario Cordoni gapping the opposition. Auger second, so it's Ferrari, BMW, Porsche. Jürgen Hering's Porsche 911 GT3R is there in 3rd place. In 4th place, it's Klaus-Dieter Frers. And a change, possibly, because up the inside goes Edvard Brauner, but he can't quite find a way through. Steve Earle keeping him at bay, but he is, for the moment at least, keeping Schiavone behind him as they come over the timing line now. Leader goes through, and Mario Cordoni is pretty much on his own now. He's 1.3 seconds ahead of Auger. Schiavone in the blue Ferrari down to 7th place, so Brauner at 1 spot, but Schiavone fights back on the inside line there. He's got the inside in the blue Ferrari. He brakes as late as he dares and loses out because Coach McKenzie goes round the outside, and they've all gained a place because there was a spinning Porsche ahead of them, and that was the car of Jürgen Hering from 3rd place. Now there, Gosselin, number 4, Claudio Gosselin, gets up the outside of Schiavone coming up to the Curva Grande, and they go through pretty much together. On the inside line is Schiavone, on the outside line it is Claudio Gosselin. So Coach McKenzie gains places with a really opportunistic move around the outside. Whether that's going to stand because there were yellow flags waving with Hering facing the wrong way, discuss. There Claudio Gosselin goes up the inside to put a place on Claudio Schiavone, goes through. So the 2 Italian cars trade places now with the Lamborghini ahead of the Ferrari, and Jürgen has not exactly gone Hering off after his spin. The car is still stranded, and it remains stranded, and there's little activity to get him going again. Now, did he fall or was he pushed? He was pushed. Kaboom. Into the back goes Klaus-Dieter Frers, and around goes Jürgen Hering. So now the marshals have strolled over to have a look at the situation, but we've already had in the Lamborghini race an accident at that corner with marshals working on the scene and yellow flags not being respected, and a full course yellow is being called for. So we've had a safety car, now we have a full course yellow, so everybody slows down, but they don't close up. They have to maintain speed, but as I say, the gaps will remain, or should remain. Anybody that catches the car will find themselves in hot water. Anybody that overtakes will find the water even hotter still. So the field turns through, and Klaus-Dieter Frers, as the catalyst of that incident, may well now be the driver that finds himself up before the stewards at the end of the race. They might want a word about that. Late on the brakes, yes, but a bit too late, and the consequences are a bit more serious. And are we going to go safety car? I think we are. Safety car's just been deployed. So a full course yellow gets everybody slowed down, and then you can deploy the safety car to scoop them all up. So safety car on track, down towards turn 1. And the way that Alain Audin often operates this, you call for the full course yellow, people get this message over the radio instantly and slow. and then having got everybody under control, you can then send the safety car out. Often put the safety car out as a scramble, and some people hit the brakes and others don't, and it all becomes a bit of a mess. While the safety car has been scrambled though, has Jürgen Hering got going again? I think he has, so we might not need this for very long. Yep, safety car's already been announced as coming in at the end of this lap, and Mario Cordoni will have probably about 9 minutes of racing still to run. So through they come for the 7th time of asking, with 1.497 seconds being the notional gap at the end of the previous lap, but it's a phony gap because of the safety car having been deployed. Cordoni, there he is, Ogier BMW second, third is Freres, fourth, moustache twitching, Steve Earle, fifth is Edward Brown, in sixth place is Coach McKenzie, seventh is Claude-Yves Gosselin, who was delayed at the start, remember, but actually of the three, came off the least badly. Eighth, it is Claudio Schiavone. In ninth place now, we've got Mike Hanch. And in 10th place, it is Pierre Feligioni, another of the Brooks & Gignon team drivers, Thierry Brooks' squad. In 11th place now is car number 53, Frederic Fangio's Ferrari 458, earlier car. Behind Fangio, you've got the Attempto-run Lamborghini Huracan of Bernd Kleinbach. Behind him is Louis-Philippe Cernan. 14th is Roberto Raineri. 15th should be Jürgen Hering, who's just gone across the timing line. And then a lap down in 16th place is Patrick van Glebbeke, with out of the race being Christian Hoek, and never in it, Dilan Thamalagamua, the Sri Lankan driver who didn't get to the grid. So through they turn for the 7th time, and we'll go racing again at the end of this lap. The way that he's gone thus far, however, I expect Mario Cordoni to be on his toes again and build up that lead straight away. So through they come. Down towards the Parabolica, and the lights out on top of the safety car. But why is Karim Ogier not on the back of the race leader? He's giving himself a Herculean task. Look, I mean, he's not, the leader has gone, Ogier doesn't go with him. So Karim Ogier, look, he's lost a huge amount of time. You might be able to suggest that if he felt he couldn't ever catch Cordoni, it's more important to try and fox the rest of them behind and concentrate on taking second place. But Cordoni's lead has extended by 0.6 of a second while all that was going on, so he's absolutely gone. He's away like a robber's dog. Second is Karim Ogier. In third place with his damage now is Klaus-Dieter Freres. Now if the air gets under the front bodywork, a legacy of where he hit Hering, that is going to rip it off. So the technical team may well be looking at this and giving a report to the race direction crew and saying we need a mechanical warning flag for number 3 Ferrari, get into the pit lane. But on the fast parts of the circuit, like I say, if the air gets underneath that, you can see it fluttering, it might get even worse. There is the now best placed, or better placed, Porsche of Edward Lewis Brown in 5th spot. 6th behind his coach McKenzie, who's under attack from Claude-Yves Gosselin. If you go back to the 1990s, was a front runner for Paul Belmondo's Chrysler Viper team in the FIA GT Championship, and the Frenchman, now a little later in life, racing in this Gentleman Sports Club series and enjoying himself. The restart of car 70 is under investigation. So, as I was saying, it was Ogier lagging back. Cordoni is being investigated for going perhaps too early, but it could work either way, couldn't it? Karim Ogier certainly didn't go with him, which makes it look perhaps worse than it was. The flying bodywork, Klaus-Dieter Freres hangs on to 3rd place, and he is also, remember, the leader of the Iron Cup. The best of the titaniums in all of this is going to be found a little bit lower down the order in the person of Edward Brown. Over the timing line, they will come at the end of this 8th lap, with the gap having been 1.9 seconds. Cordoni leading the way, but that bodywork is looking ever more perilous, isn't it, on Klaus-Dieter Freres' car? It's being ripped on the one side where he made contact with the back of Jürgen Hering, and if you were Steve Earle behind, not that you would necessarily know about that, but you might be a bit nervous that you suddenly find something flying towards you. There is Claudio Schiavone's blue Ferrari coming over the line. Cordoni goes through 2.1 seconds ahead of Karim Ogier's BMW. 3rd is Freres, 4th is Earle, 5th is Brown, 6th is Coach McKenzie. And again, though, that the air gets under the bodywork as the car brakes, then so he's able to control the situation a little bit as the bodywork falls back down again, but it's not looking overly optimistic, this. Coach Mackenzie pressing on. 6th he is in the Lamborghini, and he might yet be able to have a go at Edvard Brown before the end of the race, because Edward Lewis Brown ahead of the Porsche there, run by the Herbert Motorsport team. He's coming under renewed attack, and in fact Mackenzie's taking Gosselin with him. The pale blue Lamborghini Gallardo next in the queue. Restart of Mario Cordoni, no further action taken. So Cordoni legit. As I say, I think it was the others that were a bit slow behind him. It made it sort of look worse than it was. Coach Mackenzie, there he is, has done the absolute best of anybody in the first sector of the race on this lap. So Mackenzie is closing. He's taking 3/10 out of Brown, who's got a bit stuck now behind Earl, who's got a bit stuck behind Klaus-Dieter Frers. The top two up towards the Variante Ascari once again. We are on lap number 9. They break and they turn in now through the right-left flick, and then on to this long, fast straight down towards the Parabolica, where again the airflow starts to disturb the bodywork on Klaus-Dieter Frers' car. He may well be investigated post-race, but we've not yet had anything up on the timing screen. As now Brown in the Porsche goes to the inside of Steve Earle, who moves across to try and defend and also have a go at the Klaus-Dieter Frers Ferrari at the same time. No change in the order as they come now through the Parabolica up towards the timing line once more. Through they turn, past the pits, and while 3rd, 4th and 5th battle, so the race leaders are getting away. Mario Cordoni, Karim Auger, 2 seconds separate them, and all of a sudden the fastest lap of the race has just been done by the number 20 Ferrari, the Kessel car of Claudio Schiavone. Down towards the Rettifilia they come, and Klaus-Dieter Frers almost, yes there is drama because he's up the curve as he tries to defend there from Steve Earle. Right there with him as well is Edvard Brown, who looks for a way past. They're being reeled in by Mackenzie, who's taking Gosselin with him. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, in fact all the way back to Schiavone running as one here. Karim Auger is away and gone in 2nd spot, and the race leader Mario Cordoni even further up the road now. They break for the Variante della Roggia, and again Steve Earle is quick but he can't find a way past Klaus-Dieter Frers. These two fighting for Iron Cup honours. I told you a fib about Titanium Cup. It is led by Cordoni, in fact further up the road, and as they swing out of the Lesmos, running in the overall championship is Edvard Brown down in 5th place. Van Glebecker is way back in 16th spot, but lapping in sectors now, quicker than anybody else. Just frustrated, but can't make that lap back. Incident between Herring and Frers is now under investigation, so the stewards confirm that they're going to have a look at it. And there is the race leader Mario Cordoni heading through once more the Variante Ascari. Steve Earle again to the inside of Klaus-Dieter Frers, who rides the curb. And Earle spins, round he goes, hard into the barrier. Is he going to get collected? Schiavone just misses him. He's sitting in the middle of the road, and Steve Earle's car with rear damage hopefully can be negotiated. The yellow flags will wave, but if Steve Earle can't get going again, my fear would be that's going to be an interruption. There to the inside line, Edvard Brown goes ahead, does ease up the curve, and there's more contact. Klaus-Dieter Frers spins. Off the road goes Brown, up the inside goes Coach Mackenzie. And more contact, Schiavone ploughs into the stricken car of Klaus-Dieter Frers. So you've got one off at the chicane, you've got at least one stranded in the middle of the Parabolica, facing the wrong way round a fast corner. Frers gets going, red flag, race stop. The race director has called for the stoppage, and so it'll go back a lap. The result I'll confirm to you in a moment, but the top two, there's no doubt about. The frustrated one will be Coach Mackenzie, because he just got over the line in 3rd place, but he won't be there on the countback, I'm afraid to say. Klaus-Dieter Frers with rear damage limps over the line. Steve Earle, he was a separate accident. Doesn't limp anywhere, he's still in the car. You can see the rear damage. So we've had a safety car, a full course yellow into a safety car, and a red flag, and this is where it all started. Steve Earle tried to get past Klaus-Dieter Frers. He was right up behind him. Too quickly into the Variante Ascari round he went. Amazingly, they all missed him. But then it was Edvard Lewis Brown who went for Browner rather, who went to the inside, coming into the Parabolica, and Browner touched Klaus-Dieter Frers. He spun and was then collected by that car of Claudio Schiavone. Here it is again, the Porsche look, goes to the inside line, there's plenty of room, he's flashing his lights, he's almost level, and then into the corner, putting him up the curb, turns Klaus-Dieter Frers, they spin, or he spins, the Porsche avoids it, wait for Schiavone, unsighted, who comes round the corner, bang, straight into the Ferrari. So the red flag with only 3 minutes on the clock. The race, of course, will not be resumed, and so it's now this clear-up operation for the officials. The drivers will make their way up to the podium. And Steve Earle, disappointed, has to cope now with a damaged car for tomorrow. His car being run by Kessel Racing. Klaus-Dieter Freyr's car is from the Artiga Rennsport squad. AF Corsa looked after Patrick Van Glebeker's damaged car, but another Kessel car with damage is that of Claudio Schiavone, the Swiss driver. So, confirmation, given how far through the race we were, that it will not be restarted, and the drivers now will make their way through the incident zone, back down the pit lane, and I suspect that the race director and the stewards might have a word. We did have a rather tumultuous race at Paul Ricard a couple of seasons back, at which point there was an impromptu drivers briefing on the Sunday morning just to remind them about driving standards. And while we all want to see lively racing, not necessarily when there's a big damage bill at the end of it. So down the pit road comes Mario Cordoni. I was going to say a faultless drive, but even he was looked at briefly for his restart. So Cordoni it is who takes the race win. Carrie Moget for second spot. And then Coach McKenzie for third, and they are all drivers from the Titanium Cup. So that's an easy podium to do. And then for Iron Cup and overall, the order will be confirmed in a moment. The timing screen is now having a small aberration saying that Claude Gosselin is the winner, which he's not. But I think that's because he's taken the timing beam and the others haven't. So he's notionally done more laps, but the order will be confirmed. Complimenti Mario. Mario Cordoni it is then who wins. Mario Cordoni hands the crash helmet over to his team.
Merci, merci. Ho lavorato molto oggi. Ho lavorato più ieri sera. Anche ieri sera. Ieri sera ho lavorato di più, magari ho fatto 4 giri.
Congratulated by the team and his mates, and will, on this very good, successful return to the Blancpain GT Sports Club, make its way up now to the podium, which is there, dressed, ready and waiting. Second place will go to Carrie Moget, but we'll confirm a full result as soon as we can. Prior to that, we'll hear from Mario Cordoni, race winner, with our reporter Dakota.
Well, congratulations. That was quite an interesting race.
Yes, very short race because they had a lot of problems of incident, and we had twice the safety car, twice the restart, and finally the red flag. I think the race director will make a little bit, it's to be a little bit stronger with the. But for me, it was a very nice race, of course.
So the others battling on track actually worked in your favour?
Exactly. Too much because just few laps, but anyway, it was fun. I had fun. Very nice organization. Very nice organization, and thanks to everybody.
Congratulations.
Mario Cordoni then, race winner, and will make his way up to the podium very shortly. The race result is still yet to be confirmed, in fact, as I say, because the timing screen has had this little glitch with Claude Gosselin being shown as the race winner. Mario Cordoni, however, no argument about it, never had it, and he will go to the podium in a moment. Let's look at the best bits, and they were punctuated by incidents, but it all kicked off at the very first corner, with the race leader being Mario Cordoni, and as he led, Van Glebeker and Christian Hook and Claude Gosselin all came together on the inside. They sorted themselves out more or less, but Van Glebeker got a puncture in the process and therefore had to limp back round, and in so doing it was a retirement. A lap down rather. Christian Hook was an early retirement, he went off into the gravel. And that was Van Glebeker limping his way back round to the pit lane. Having dropped a lap, he was always going to be up against it as the race was run briefly behind the safety car. We got going again, but it wasn't long before Klaus-Dieter Freyr's got into the back of Jürgen Haring and tapped him around down at the first corner, and therefore a full course yellow was called to slow the pace, and then that developed into a safety car in order to try and bring normality. And we got it, and we got a good race. There were some good fights after that, with Schiavone fighting his way through with Claude Gosselin. But in the end, although Gosselin found a way through, it was Schiavone who ended up with damage because Klaus-Dieter Freyr's, with his flapping front bodywork, was coming under attack late race. He had Steve Earle with him. They almost came to grief at the chicane at the Filia, where Earle rode the curve and was almost into the back of the Ferrari. That brought the Porsche into contention as well of Edward Lewis Browner. As the cars turned their way through the Ascari chicane, round went Steve Earle into the barriers. Everybody missed him, it was a narrow escape actually for Claudio Schiavone, but worse was to come, because as Edward Lewis Browner got up the inside, he was squeezed towards the curb, there was contact, it tapped around Klaus-Dieter Frers, and then Schiavone had nowhere to go. He saw the car, tried to throw it sideways, but it was too late, and he ploughed in, meaning that with wrecked cars and debris on the road, the race director had no option really but to call for a red flag. And confirmation of the results at 9 laps, Mario Cordoni the winner from Karim Ogier, and then Klaus-Dieter Frers taking 3rd place. 4th to Steve Earle. So even though they didn't get to the end, they weren't running at the time of the red flag under international rules, they do stay in the result. 5th, Edward Lewis Browner ahead of Coach McKenzie. Claude Gosselin 7th. 8th, Claudio Schiavone ahead of Mike Hansch and Pierre Feligioni rounding out the top 10. Frederic Fangio 11th, and another newcomer to Sports Club, Bernd Kleinbach, taking 12th place. 13th was Louis-Philippe Cernan ahead of Roberto Raineri's Mercedes. Jürgen Hering a long way back after his spin. Patrick Van Glebecker a lap down, and Christian Hook out of the race in the gravel on the opening lap, the one non-starter being Delantha Malagamua. So confirmation of the race result in Titanium Cup, Mario Cordoni, Karim Ogier and Coach McKenzie. Iron Cup, Klaus-Dieter Frers and Steve Earle. Neither of them got to the end. And then 3rd was newcomer Bernd Kleinbach. And overall, Edward Lewis Browner from Mike Hansch and Pierre Feligioni, the young guns. Confirmation of the Titanium Cup order at flag 4. Coach McKenzie 3rd. Karim Ogier still denied that first win, and Mario Cordoni carrying on where he left off. Fastest lap of the race done by Claudio Schiavone on the penultimate lap, the lap before the accident that brought the race to a close. So he's got a damaged car, not much to cheer about, but he has got the fastest lap of the race. And of course it's the results of today that determine the grid for the main race. The Iron Cup being won today by Klaus-Dieter Frers, even though his car's damaged. 2nd, Steve Earle, his car damaged. And 3rd was, in the end, Bernd Kleinbach, who did at least keep running to the end, but a long way down. So the drivers will make their way to the podium shortly, but it's taking a bit of organisation given the result with the red flag. So we will maybe not be able to check in with the drivers on the podium, but our congratulations to Mario Cordoni, because track activity comes thick and fast at Monza, and the pre-qualifying session for the Blancpain GT Series Endurance Club will be getting underway very shortly. So, a lively race, Mario Cordoni the winner, and Blancpain GT Sports Club will be back in action tomorrow for the main race here at Monza. Let's see whether Cordoni can do the double. For now, from David Addison, it's goodbye, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.